GMC dealerships are making record profits, and a lot of that money is coming straight out of your pocket through scams you don't even know you're paying for. Today, I'm exposing the dealership tricks that cost GMC owners thousands. From fake service recommendations to markup schemes, these are the scams you need to watch for. Number 1 on this list? It's completely legal, and it's costing you $2,000 every time you visit the service department. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. New GMC money-saving tips every week. Scam number 7, the cabin air filter upsell. Let's start with one of the most common scams, the cabin air filter replacement. You bring your GMC in for an oil change, and the service advisor comes back with a dirty cabin air filter. Look how black this is. You need to replace it immediately. It's affecting your air quality and HVAC performance. Here's the scam. That filter costs $8 to $15 at any auto parts store. Takes 5 minutes to replace yourself. No tools required. But the dealership charges $60 to $80 for the same filter and installation. The markup is bad enough. A 400 to 500% markup on a part you can install in 5 minutes. But here's the real scam. They recommend replacement every 15,000 miles. Your owner's manual says 30,000 to 45,000 miles, depending on driving conditions. They're doubling the frequency to double their profit. And sometimes they're not even showing you your actual filter. I've heard from multiple technicians who've worked at dealerships, they keep a dirty filter in the shop just to show customers. Your filter might be perfectly clean, but they show you the dirty one and charge you $80 for a replacement you don't need. Here's how to spot this scam. When they show you the filter, ask them to show you where they removed it from. Watch them take it out. If they can't or won't do that, they're probably showing you a fake filter. The service advisor will create urgency. This dirty filter is reducing your airflow. Your AC isn't working as efficiently. You're breathing contaminated air. All of this is exaggerated. A slightly dirty filter doesn't significantly impact performance. How to avoid this scam? Check your cabin air filter yourself. On most GMC trucks, it's behind the glove box. Open the glove box, squeeze the sides to release it, and it drops down. The filter housing is right there. Pull out the filter and look at it. If you can see light through it, it's fine. If it's black and clogged, replace it. Buy a quality filter online for $10 to $15. Installation takes 5 minutes. You just saved $65 and learned a valuable skill. But cabin air filters are small money compared to what's coming next. Scam number 6, the transmission flush scam. This one's expensive and potentially damaging. You bring your truck in for service, and they recommend a transmission flush. Your transmission fluid is dirty. We need to flush the system completely. It's $300 to $400, but it'll save your transmission from a $5,000 rebuild. Here's the scam. Most GMC transmissions don't need flushes. They need fluid exchanges. There's a huge difference, and the dealership knows it. A flush uses high-pressure equipment to force all the old fluid out. The machine connects to your transmission lines and pumps new fluid in while forcing old fluid out under pressure. Sounds thorough, right? But in a transmission with 80,000 or 100,000 miles, there are deposits built up in the valve body, on clutch packs, and in various passages. That high-pressure flush knocks those deposits loose. They float through your transmission, clog the valve body, jam solenoids, and cause shifting problems. I've seen transmissions that were shifting perfectly before a flush starts slipping and throwing codes immediately after. A proper fluid exchange is different. The technician drops the pan, drains the old fluid, replaces the filter if your transmission has one, cleans the pan, and refills with fresh fluid. You're only replacing 40 to 50% of the total fluid, but that's actually better. You're refreshing the fluid without disturbing deposits that have been there for years. The dealership knows this. But a flush costs $300 to $400 and takes 30 minutes. An exchange costs $150 to $200 and takes an hour. They make more money on the flush, even though it can damage your transmission. Here's another part of the scam. They'll tell you the flush is required for your warranty. It's not. Check your warranty documentation. Most warranties don't specify flush versus exchange. They just require that the fluid be changed at specified intervals. And they'll use scare tactics. If you don't flush this now, your transmission will fail. But if your transmission is shifting fine, you probably don't need service yet. GM's official recommendation for most trucks is 60,000 to 100,000 miles for transmission service, not 30,000 or 40,000 like dealers often claim. How to avoid this? If your transmission is shifting fine, you probably don't need service yet. When you do need service, specifically request a fluid exchange, not a flush. Ask them to drop the pan and replace the filter. And never let them flush a transmission with over 100,000 miles. The risk of dislodging deposits is too high. If they insist a flush is necessary, get a second opinion from an independent transmission shop. They'll give you an honest assessment without the sales pressure. Now, let's talk about a scam that targets your engine. Scam number 5, the engine. Air filter markup. Your engine air filter is one of the easiest maintenance items to check and replace. It's right under the hood in a plastic box, no tools required on most GMC trucks. Takes 2 minutes to access and replace, but dealerships charge $40 to $60 for a filter that costs $12 to $20 at any parts store. That's a 200 to 300% markup, and they recommend replacement every 15,000 miles, even though most filters last 30,000 to 45,000 miles under normal conditions. Here's how the scam works. During your oil change, the technician checks your air filter. This is part of their multi-point inspection. Even if it's only slightly dirty, they mark it for replacement. The service advisor shows you the filter and says, "This is restricting airflow. It's hurting your fuel economy and performance. We need to replace it today." The truth? A slightly dirty filter doesn't hurt anything. Air filters are designed to trap dirt. They actually work better when they have some dirt in them because the dirt helps trap more particles. It's called depth loading, and it's how filters are supposed to work. You only need to replace the filter when it's actually clogged, when you can't see light through it anymore, when it's visibly black and saturated with dirt. That usually takes 30,000 to 45,000 miles under normal driving conditions. If you drive on dirt roads or in dusty conditions, it might be sooner, but not at 15,000 miles. Here's another tactic they use. They'll tap the filter on the ground to knock dirt loose, making it look dirtier than it is. Or they'll show you a filter from another vehicle that's actually dirty, not your filter. The service advisor will also exaggerate the consequences. This dirty filter is costing you 2 to 3 miles per gallon in fuel economy. The reality? A moderately dirty filter might cost you 0.1 to 0.2 miles per gallon. It's negligible. How to avoid this? Check your air filter yourself every oil change. Pop the hood, find the air filter housing. It's usually a black plastic box near the front of the engine. Unlatch the clips, open the box, and pull out the filter. Hold it up to the light. If you can see light through it, it's fine. If it's black and you can't see through it, replace it. When it does need replacement, buy one online for $15. Installation takes 2 minutes. You just saved $45 and learned another valuable skill. But these small scams are nothing compared to what dealerships do with major services. Scam number 4. The 30,000-mile service package. This is where dealerships make serious money. You hit 30,000 miles, and they recommend a comprehensive service package. Your truck needs the 30,000-mile service. It's $800 to $1,200, but it's essential for your warranty and your truck's longevity. Here's the scam. They bundle necessary services with unnecessary ones, then charge premium prices for everything. And they create the impression that this package is required when most of it isn't. A typical 30,000-mile package includes oil change, tire rotation, brake inspection, fluid top-offs, filter replacements, battery test, and a multi-point inspection. Sounds comprehensive. But let's break down what you're actually getting and what it actually costs. Oil change. The dealer charges $80 to $100. A quick lube place charges $40 to $50. If you do it yourself, it's $25 in parts. The dealer's cost? About $20 in oil and filter, plus 15 minutes of labor. Tire rotation. The dealer charges $40 to $50. Most tire shops do it for free if you bought tires there. The dealer's cost? $0 in parts, 10 minutes of labor. Brake inspection. They charge $40 to $60. What do they actually do? They look at your brakes through the wheel. They don't remove the wheels. They don't measure pad thickness with a gauge. They just look. Takes 30 seconds per wheel. The dealer's cost? $0. Fluid top-offs. They charge $30 to $50. What do they actually do? They add a few ounces of washer fluid and maybe check your coolant level. The dealer's cost? About $2 in fluids. Battery test? They charge $30 to $40. They connect a tester to your battery for 30 seconds. The dealer's cost? $0. Multi-point inspection. They charge $60 to $80. What is this? A technician walks around your truck with a clipboard, checking tire pressure, looking for obvious leaks, checking lights. Takes 5 minutes. The dealer's cost? $0. Add it all up, and you're paying $800 to $1,200 for services that cost the dealer $100 in parts and labor. The markup is 700 to 1,100%. And most of these services aren't even necessary at 30,000 miles. Here's another part of the scam. They'll tell you this service is required for your warranty. It's not. Your warranty requires that you maintain your vehicle according to the owner's manual. Check your manual. Most of these services aren't listed at 30,000 miles. The service advisor will also add services that aren't in the package. While we're doing the 30,000 mile service, we noticed your cabin air filter is dirty. That's an additional $80. Now your $1,000 service is $1,080. Then they find something else. Before you know it, you're at $1,500. How to avoid this? Check your owner's manual for the actual maintenance schedule. It lists every service and exactly when it's due. At 30,000 miles, most GMC trucks only need an oil change and tire rotation. That's it. Everything else can wait. Do the services that are actually required. Skip the bundled packages. If you need an oil change and tire rotation, get an oil change and tire rotation. Don't pay for a package full of services you don't need. You'll save $500 to $700 every service interval. Now let's talk about a scam that happens when you're buying, not servicing. Scam number 3, the extended warranty markup. Extended warranties can be valuable, but dealerships mark them up 100 to 200%, and they pressure you into buying coverage you don't need. Here's how it works. You're buying a new GMC. You've negotiated the price. You're in the finance office signing paperwork. The finance manager says, for just $80 a month, you can extend your warranty to 100,000 miles or 7 years. It covers everything: engine, transmission, electrical, everything. You'll have complete peace of mind. Sounds reasonable. But here's the scam. That $80 a month for 60 months is $4,800. The actual cost of that warranty from the provider? $2,000 to $2,500. The dealership is pocketing $2,300 to $2,800 in pure profit. That's a 100 to 150% markup. And they're selling you coverage you might not need. If you're buying a new truck with a factory warranty, you're already covered for 36,000 miles or 3 years. The powertrain is covered for 60,000 miles or 5 years. If you trade vehicles every few years, you'll never use the extended warranty. You're paying $4,800 for coverage you'll never benefit from. Even worse, many extended warranties have deductibles, exclusions, and claim limits that make them nearly worthless. You pay $4,800 for coverage, then find out your $3,000 repair isn't covered because of some fine print exclusion. Here's how they pressure you. The finance manager will use fear tactics. Modern trucks are so complex, one electrical problem can cost $5,000 to fix. Without this warranty, you're taking a huge risk. They'll also use time pressure. This warranty price is only good today. If you come back later, it'll cost more. They'll also bundle it with other products. If you get the warranty, I can throw in gap insurance and tire protection for just $20 more per month. Now you're at $100 a month, $6,000 total for products that cost them $3,000 wholesale. How to avoid this? If you want an extended warranty, shop around. Get quotes from third-party providers like Endurance, CarChecks, or Olive. You can often buy the same coverage for half the price, and you can buy it any time within your factory warranty period. There's no rush. Read the contract carefully before you buy. Know what's covered and what's not. Check the deductible. Check the claim limits. Check the exclusions. Many warranties exclude wear items like brakes, clutches, and batteries. Some exclude repairs caused by lack of maintenance, which is subjective and gives them an out. And consider whether you actually need it. If you're buying a reliable truck like a GMC with a proven engine and you maintain it properly, your risk of major repairs is low. You might be better off saving that $4,800 in a repair fund. But there's a scam that's even more expensive than extended warranties. Scam number 2, the dealer markup on new trucks. This scam exploded during the pandemic and it's still happening. You want to buy a new GMC Sierra or Yukon. The MSRP is $55,000, but when you get to the dealer, there's a sticker on the window with an additional $10,000 to $15,000 market adjustment or dealer markup. They claim it's because of high demand and low inventory. Everyone wants this truck. We can't keep them in stock. This is just the market price now. But here's the truth. It's pure profit. That truck cost the dealer $50,000 from GM. They're selling it for $70,000. That's a $20,000 profit on a single vehicle. And they're using pressure tactics to make you pay it. If you don't buy today, someone else will. We have a waiting list. We had 3 people looking at this truck yesterday. This is the market price now. Every dealer is doing it. Some of that is true. Some dealers are adding markups, but not all of them. And the markup amount varies wildly. One dealer might add $5,000, another adds $15,000. It's arbitrary. They're charging whatever they think they can get away with. Some dealers are even worse. They add mandatory accessories, paint protection, fabric protection, nitrogen tire fill, window tinting, wheel locks, door edge guards, and charge $3,000 to $5,000 for services and products that cost them $200. Paint protection. It's a spray-on sealant that costs $30 and takes 20 minutes to apply. They charge $1,500. Fabric protection? It's Scotchguard. Costs $15. They charge $800. Nitrogen tire fill? Nitrogen is free. It's 78% of the air we breathe. They charge $200. Window tinting? Costs them $100 in materials and labor. They charge $800. These accessories are marked up 500 to 1,000%, and they're mandatory. You can't buy the truck without them. If you refuse, they won't sell you the truck. How to avoid this? Shop around. Call multiple dealers within 200 miles. Ask about markups before you visit. Some dealers are still selling at MSRP or close to it. Be willing to travel. Driving 200 miles to save $10,000 is absolutely worth it. And never pay for dealer-installed accessories you don't want. If they won't remove them from the deal, walk away. Tell them you'll buy from a dealer that doesn't add mandatory accessories. Sometimes they'll back down. If they don't, there's always another dealer. You can also order a truck directly from GM. It takes longer, usually 2 to 3 months. But you'll pay MSRP with no markup. The dealer can't add a markup to a factory order in most cases. But the biggest scam of all is one that most people don't even know exists. Scam number 1. The fake service recommendations. This is the scam that costs GMC owners more money than everything else combined. You bring your truck in for an oil change. The service advisor comes back with a list of required services: brake fluid flush, coolant flush, power steering flush, differential service, transmission service, fuel system cleaning. Total cost, $1,500 to $2,000. Here's the scam. None of those services are actually required. Your truck has 40,000 miles. Your owner's manual doesn't call for any of those services until 60,000 or 100,000 miles. But the dealership has a quota. Service advisors are required to sell a certain dollar amount per repair order. If they don't hit their numbers, they get written up or fired. So they create urgency with fake problems. Your brake fluid is contaminated. It's absorbed moisture. It could cause brake failure. They show you a test strip that's supposedly measuring moisture content. The strip is always bad because that's how they're designed. Your brake fluid is fine. It doesn't need to be flushed until 100,000 miles or 5 years. Your coolant is acidic. It's going to corrode your engine and cause leaks. They dip a test strip in your coolant. It changes color. See? It's acidic. We need to flush it immediately. Your coolant has 50,000 miles left before it needs service. The test strip is meaningless. Your differential fluid is breaking down. You could have a failure while towing. Your differential doesn't need service until 60,000 miles. And if you don't tow, it can go even longer. They're lying to sell services you don't need. And most customers don't know enough to push back. They trust the dealership. They assume the service advisor is looking out for their best interest. They pay $2,000 for services that aren't due for another 50,000 miles. Here's another tactic. They'll show you parts from other vehicles and claim they're from your truck. Look at this dirty fuel filter. It's completely clogged. That's not your fuel filter. Your truck doesn't even have a serviceable fuel filter. It's in the tank and lasts the life of the vehicle. Look at this worn serpentine belt. It's cracked and about to break. That's not your belt. Your belt is fine. They keep old parts in the shop just to show customers. The service advisor will also use fear tactics. If you don't do these services today, you could have a breakdown. You could be stranded on the highway. You could cause an accident. They're creating panic to pressure you into buying services you don't need. How to avoid this? Know your maintenance schedule. Your owner's manual lists every service and when it's actually due. When the dealer recommends something, check the manual. If it's not listed at your current mileage, you don't need it. And get a second opinion. If a dealer says you need $2,000 in services, take your truck to an independent mechanic. Get their assessment. 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you the dealer is overselling. Independent mechanics don't have the same sales pressure. They make money on labor, not on selling unnecessary services. You can also ask the service advisor to show you the problem. You say my coolant is acidic. Show me the test results. Show me the specification for when it needs to be replaced. Most of the time they can't. They're making it up. The dealership service department is a profit center. Their job is to sell you as much service as possible, whether you need it or not. Service advisors work on commission. The more they sell, the more they make. Your job is to know what you actually need and say no to everything else. Now you know the dealership scams to avoid. But avoiding scams is only half the battle. You also need to know the right maintenance schedule to keep your GMC running strong. Check out my video on making your GMC last over 300,000 miles. I cover the actual maintenance you need, not the services dealerships try to sell you. Thanks for watching.